Hello and welcome to another Kyle Connor YouTube channel video. You joined me in my living room because we're about to leave on an exciting adventure. Now, we live about 1 hour north of Denver, Colorado. We're in Fort Collins. And so we're just on that last town of the suburbs. We got as far away from the city as we could, but still having everything we need. And my Range Rover, my L322, my 2009 Range Rover, is actually in for service, big surprise, in Denver. And they've recently completed the service that I've asked them to do. It's at JC's British 4x4. And I'll run through everything that we did. But I don't think I've put my new e-Golf on the Kyle Connor YouTube channel yet. And I have been driving this car every day that I've been home in Colorado. I've been doing a lot of traveling, but when I'm here and I'm just driving from here to the office or Starbucks, I've been using my really cheap $3,500, I don't even know what I paid for it, $3,000 or $3,500, my e-Golf. And the suspension's shot and it's got huge battery degradation, like 30% degradation from new. And we've done all those videos on out-of-spec reviews. In this video, we have to go pick up my Range Rover from service. And I thought, well, can I get and do the Denver run in the e-Golf? Of course, I'm gonna have to charge, maybe 4 or 5 times. I don't even know, because it's about 70 miles. It's on the south side of Denver. We're on the north side of Denver. So we have to go to Englewood. So we have to go all the way down Denver and past, and then turn around and come back. It is currently 6:45. Let's say we hit the road by 7. I wonder if I'll be home by 11. It could be one heck of a trip. But ultimately, my e-Golf supports DC fast charging. It's cold outside, which should help because it's an air-cooled battery pack. And I want to know how hard it is to do the Denver run in chilly conditions. So that way in the summertime, maybe it'll even be better. So Alyssa, you ready for a road trip in the e-Golf?
Oh, I'm so excited.
Yeah, the car reeks of smoke. It's like not a great example, but it's just a cheap EV. And ultimately, it's nice to know the capabilities of my cars and where I can take them and what I can do with them. And of course, it's also a pretty good highlight as to the pretty nice CCS infrastructure we have here in Colorado. So I'm gonna grab my OBD plug it into the Golf so I can monitor battery temperatures. It has an amazing charging curve, much better than my Leaf. And we're gonna see how it works on a 140-mile road trip, maybe even more, 150-mile road trip in my Golf that has about 40 miles of range. So of course I could take the Model S or the Model X or our Rivian or our e-tron. I actually took the e-tron down earlier today to go drop off a part that they finished up on the Range Rover. They did a big service for me. The second big service on my Range Rover, just making sure everything was good. But what I really want to do is take my trusty Golf with the duct tape license plate. Again, this is the one I've been driving the whole time. I've got my V-Peak little OBD thing. We'll plug it in so we can monitor the battery temps. And then, damn, this is going to be maybe a late night. So it's, 6:45 p.m. It's 39 degrees out. Should get below freezing, 27. So that'll actually help with the air-cooled battery pack. I got to grab the Android phone out of this one because I just was on a huge road trip in the Model X using Scan My Tesla and a bunch of stuff. This is my dad's Model X Plaid. He let me borrow it so we could do some tests because I like to test brand new cars. And of course, Tesla doesn't do press cars. So this will go back to Connecticut in the next week or two when we're done with it. So we're bringing Walter as well. And is he in the car or?
No, he's refusing right now.
Oh, he's here on the ground. He blends in with the ground. All right, well, in we go on the e-Golf. And wow, what a beauty. Let's start this thing up. Gauges do the nice sweep. I'm going to shut climate control off so we don't burn anything sitting here. We're gonna run eco mode. It says add washer fluid. And it should give us our projected range. We're leaving almost at 100%. It's at like 95. I was driving it earlier. I guess it didn't complete, but now it's showing 48 miles of range with climate control off. Perfect. And Walter's getting yanked into the car back here. Come on, dude. Well, we're all loaded up here. We got Alyssa. We got Walter boy. Was drooling. And yep, so let's go here to reset our trip. We have to come, let's think, instrument cluster, and then reset since start. Boom. So now if I go back to the car menu, that should be 0. That's really dumb, but that's how you have to do it. This car goes in for service and it gets all new suspension this weekend, which I'm really looking forward to. Actually, all the suspension's in the trunk, so weighing us down a little bit. Alyssa will drive the 1 hour and a bit up from Denver in the Range Rover, where you guys will join me in this on the return. So let's head out. Let's hit the road. We got, I don't know, 70 miles to get there. We'll probably have to do 1 or 2 charges depending on the spacing to get down to South Denver. And it's going to be one hell of a freaking adventure just to do a very mundane round trip. I'm looking forward to this because I drove the Golf up from Denver and it actually did way better than I expected, but I had the Aero wheels on it. Now I have the Rotiforms, which are still looking pretty aerodynamic, but they are not going to be as efficient as the stock Aero wheels that like sit inside the wheel well. So we're just going to be normal, drive it efficient. We got a ton of CCS chargers here. We'll just charge up whenever the battery gets low. Well, we are just about to merge on the highway, and so far we're getting over 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Considering it had to warm up the cabin using the heater is pretty impressive. Now, the e-Golf has actually a bunch of regen settings, and when I first picked it up, it did not regen at all. It had all the warning lights on the dash, and honestly, it looked like a total disaster. But I think actually what was throwing everything off was the alignment. The steering wheel was completely mixed up, and because this vehicle uses wheel speed to measure tire pressure and a whole bunch of other stuff, it wouldn't allow any regen because it didn't know like what the heck was going on with the car. And a little scrapage over the bumps there. The suspension's shot. I'm looking forward to getting the new dampers on there. And so now, after I had a very quick preliminary just sort of alignment done, not so much on camber, just on toe, brought it to a shop here. The car drives straight and narrow, it drives great, and of course we get full regen. And I actually have a couple different modes. I have normal drive, which coasts when I let off. There's recuperation stage 1, 2, and 3, and then on top of that I can pull this shifter right here back into B mode, and you'll see this D switch to B right over here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but there, we're in B mode, and then it gives me a lot of off-throttle regen. The brake lights come on. It's pretty great. But actually what I want for highway cruising is as much coasting on the downhills as possible. I don't want it to regen and go back in. So unlike the other cars, I think this is one that instead of cruising at 85, I'm going to cruise at 65 miles an hour, sort of get as much range out of it as possible without being sort of a menace and driving 30 miles an hour down the highway. I think between 65 and 70 is where we'll target. Also, with the suspension being so shot on this car, sometimes when you hit a bump, the wheels don't stay on the ground. It starts to get all crazy, and you just gotta hang on for dear life and kind of hit the throttle to pull the thing straight. So yeah, we'll keep the speeds down, do these big long stretches, and yeah, I'm sure these wheels are not helping with efficiency, but they look great. And again, I normally drive this car around town. The reason I'm doing this is because I really want to know what happens if I'm just in the Golf and I have to get to Denver. What's that like? And at least today it's cold, it's dark, we have the headlights on, and this is sort of worst case scenario, so I know what to plan for. Again, always good to know your vehicle's capabilities. So we're coasting on the downhill right now. I'm just in drive, no regen, it's doing great. And I'll see you guys along the way. We'll charge up, see how far we can get on this down stretch to Denver. We'll top up on the way. We are cruising in the e-Golf, and we are passing 2 Prii, full electric, better than these hybrid things. Hell yeah. Bet they're getting like 70 mpg right now. They're driving at 60 miles an hour. And this dude's got the LEDs flickering in the license plate lights over here. Nice. Love it. Cool. Well, yeah, this is great. No cruise control in the Golf, unfortunately, but just got to have a steady foot. Will you guys join us on the drive down? At the moment, we've reached the highest point of the drive of elevation. The car is predicting 14 miles of range, and we have 13 miles to get to the EVgo station that I'm thinking about heading to. Now, we are coasting at the moment, which is great. And, you know, there is a DC fast charger here at this exit. This is Firestone. We used it when we picked up the Golf, and I think if I just go a little bit slower, we can make it to EVgo. The problem with this EVgo site in Larkridge is the app indicates that all chargers are down except for one. So it's a little bit risky, but what's an out-of-spec road trip without a little bit of risk, you know? So I say we go for it. We're gonna stretch it. We'll just go slow. We have 1 mile of buffer, which is plenty, 13 miles indicated. 14 miles indicated, 12 miles to go. We got 2 miles of buffer. This is great. I've got the HVAC off for the moment. We'll probably just kick on some fan. And yeah, I'll probably go 60 instead of 65, because if the charger doesn't work, our backup plan is across the highway about 1.5 miles. So I need about 2 miles of buffer to get over to the EA station if EVgo doesn't work. But it doesn't make sense to bail out now. And also, this charger here sucks because it's a $10 activation, and that's just crazy. So, especially for such a small charging session, we need to hop down. So I say we stretch it, and if we left the house at 100%, we could just drive normally the whole way down to the Thornton EVgo station, which is typically where we run our 10% challenges, but we won't be able to if this station keeps bugging out on us. So I don't know what's going on. Well, let's just gently cruise over there and see what happens. With about 8 miles left to go, we have received our first power limit. You can see the gauge on the left is off of maximum power, and we've run this car pretty much to dead already, and it's pretty consistent at the bottom. It just keeps walking its way back all the way down. But this is, I believe, the last hill we have to crest, and then it'll just be a little bit of downhill on the way, which will be great. So all is good. I have the car in Eco Plus, which actually means I can go to the kickdown switch and it won't exceed 60 miles an hour. So we're just cruising at 60, and this is the last little bit of uphill, and then we'll coast on down. And here we have hit 6 miles of range, and yep, let's just see how this all plays out. Hopefully the pack has been a little bit more balanced than it was on our first test. Fingers crossed. Well, guys, we've hit turtle mode on the highway. I thought that we lose some elevation, and I'm pretty sure at this sign we do, but man, I thought it was a lot more downhill than what we've encountered. So we're in turtle mode. We're officially in the red. I'm doing 50 miles an hour. Perhaps this was a bit of a stretch. We probably should have stopped at the previous DC charger, but I'm hoping we make it at least to the exit, and then worst case, we just need a push in. There's 1 mile of range remaining indicated, but it's, I believe, 2.5 to the charger. So I think it is unlikely we'll make it, but I'm just trying to nurse it up this hill. See what happens. Well, I've got the climate off. We're coasting down. We've made it to the exit. The problem is the EVgo charger is 1.0 miles away. We have 1 mile of range. See, I did remember there was a downhill. I just didn't realize how much of an uphill there was. Holy smokes. So we are really at the bottom. So what we really need is this EVgo charger to work. And I am coasting all the way down off the highway at the moment. And yeah, let's just inch our way up here. See if we can make it. Let's hope we don't run out in the middle of the traffic intersection. That would stink. And we're fogging up. Thanks, Walter. So let's do this. Let's see if we can make it to the charger.
Just see if you can make the light.
Well, I can't accelerate hard. I don't want to bottom brick the pack. Regen. That guy just went hard red light.
I think we should have went hard red light.
I'm gonna go parking lights so that we don't burn any extra electricity on the just sitting here waiting. See if we can make it. All right, well, through the intersection we go, and it's going to be a slow crawl over, and it's a little bit downhill, which is great. So I think we're going to be just fine. Here we go, coasting in drive. I think we can get into the right lane here. The charger's pretty much in sight. It's in the parking lot. 0 miles of range remaining. So let's just carry as much speed as we can. And I think worst case, we can push it to the charger. But
Ready, buddy?
Yeah, we'll hook up Walter. He can pull us in. Hold on tight. We're going to be taking this corner with some speed and vigor because we need as much momentum as possible to make it over. So we're going to be using every bit of the roadway here. Just full electric golf lifestyle. So I know it's only one of the 100 kilowatt Delta units that's working. One is offline, the high power one is offline. 0 miles of range, but at least we can push it at this point. So wow, I'm surprised we freaking made this. That was
no sweat.
That was awesome. So now the question is which one works, because I see a Solterra here And I think they're using the only working one at the moment, and it's a rental car. So let's see what's going on here. But the high power one is offline. And we might be stuck here waiting for a Solterra to charge. Yeah.
Hey, but you've been looking for a diner, and there's a diner over there.
Oh, great. Well, we could do dinner. That'll be great.
Yeah.
Let's shut this thing off. Whoa. Well, the Solterra is leaving. We've only been here 5 minutes, right?
Yes.
What the heck? Okay. Well, that's cool. Let's see if the cable reaches. I kind of hope it does. Worst case, I don't know if it'll start up at the moment, but we can always pull it over. So that wasn't too bad at all. Let's see how big the cable reach is on these things. I think it actually might reach. Let's see. Come on. Oh, yeah. We're right almost there. That's maximum. Okay. Maybe a two-hander. Yes, it reaches perfectly fine with some slack. So let's get out the good old EV Go card, tap this thing, and get this road trip going. Wasn't bad at all. Nice. You've got to work for us. Connecting. Still connecting. Come on, but oh no, connection error. No. Oh God, we might actually be stuck here if this doesn't work. All right, let's try again. What the heck? All right, keeping that pressure on. What does this say? Payment authorized. Okay. More contactors are going. Come on, doll. Connection error detected. Oh boy. This could be nice. I ended up calling EVgo support to see if they could activate another charger on site, and it turns out the high power station they were able to activate once I confirmed that the charging handles were not damaged beyond a safety repair. So they turned that one back on, and we actually got charging at 1%. But here we're juicing up. Hell yes. And we're doing 125 amps, which is the most it wants. So that was great. And I can't thank the folks at EVgo. Honestly, their entire network operations center is great. So a customer reported this cable being down as a safety critical thing. And turns out that it was actually completely fine. Port A is still offline because it actually has a safety critical crack here. And damn, we are rocking. So the trip continues. That was maybe only a 20-minute setback at the most. Really not bad. But also, this is why I'm taking the Golf down here. Maybe I shouldn't rely on this station so much. And if I left it 100% and drive a little bit slower, I can make it to the EA over there, which that one doesn't usually give me that many issues. So this is great. Wow, well, this thing is just a charging machine. In 4 minutes, we are already at 25% state of charge. So that's the way to drive an e-Golf, is run it dead and plug it in, assuming the infrastructure works. Now that is weird, and something I should really do some more testing on is relying on these Delta city units. And again, I really can't thank EVgo Network Operations Center for helping me get this unit running and charging the e-Golf. That was really cool of them. Again, a customer reported that both handles were messed up, and so they shut the unit down out of safety. I confirmed that the station was operating normally and all is good. So yeah, not much to do here. We're going to charge up until it tapers, usually around 70% or so, and then we'll probably head south to the next one. But that was great. Just having to reset the car scanner app. Every time I switch vehicles, I have to re-download it for some reason. Ignition on. Looks like there's a Aria over here. I always see Arias at this site. They're getting quite popular. And if I take a look here, we're at 66%, still running full send, 44 kilowatts, 13 minutes from dead to 67%. I mean, that's pretty damn good. Pretty damn good. Even though we only got 9 kilowatt hours in there. But still, good charging curve on this one. I really just want to see the battery pack temperatures and at what point it starts to taper. Some people say you only get 2 deep charges on the e-Golf in one day. Some people say 3, but it's cold out and we're doing deep runs, so I'm not really sure if it's temperature based or kilowatt hour based. I think it's temperature based, but we'll play around with that. Hey, Walter dude, living the dream. All right, let's see the battery pack temperatures. All right, well, we have tapered at about 73% or so. We're getting about 70 amps instead of 125 amps. Now we've hit another ledge, 50 amps. So I'm not sure what that is for kilowatts. What does it say? 24 kilowatts on the charger over there. So 71 amps going from the charger into the battery pack. into the port, it's saying 67. So the car's using some HVAC we've been using to stay warm and stuff like that. We've only been here for 16 minutes and we're already at 80% state of charge, just about. According to the charger, this one always reads a little bit weird. It's hard to know exact state of charge on this one. But the battery pack's at 21 degrees Celsius average. I'd love to know min and max, and I can play around with that in here. This is just the default screen. So 21, I say we unplug here at 80%. With no need to sit at 24 kilowatts, let's head down towards the Land Rover dealer. Or not the Land Rover dealer, but the service center. Okay, well, good news. We are only about 25 miles away from where the Land Rover is. We're doing 16 kilowatts at 83%, so 12 kilowatt hours dispensed. So let's end the session. And what we'll do is we'll pick up the Land Rover. Alyssa can blast home, and then I will charge at that station down that way, or at the farthest one I can make it to on the way back up. But that really didn't take long. That is the beauty of the e-Golf, which is, you know, even though it's got small range, it charges so fast, all the way up to about 72% or so. So that worked out great. So, okay, let's rock and roll. We are on the way, on the move. I've actually put the car back into Eco Plus because it does no temperature conditioning at that point. And this 43-degree air, by the time it reaches the vents, is actually pretty nice. And with Walter back there, it's all right. Plus, the 60-mile-an-hour cap is pretty reasonable. We're just driving with traffic, so all good from my side. We did get car scanner running, of course, and we've just changed some of the parameters so we can see the battery temperature minimum and maximum. And what I'm trying to do is just drive pretty gently on the car to stop the maximum temperature from going too high. And the big reason that we're doing this is because the car is not liquid thermal managed. It's an air-cooled battery pack, which basically means a no-cooled battery pack. And there will be hot spots that develop in the battery that, once it reaches a high temperature, will limit our DC charging performance. Now, I want to experience that. I've never experienced the throttling on this vehicle yet. I've done 3 DC charges in one day, and even then it was ripping full send on each of those for me. So this is, again, a pretty long trip, but yeah, as long as we can manage the battery temperature, we should be okay. Now, if I did this on a hot day in the summer, we might only get 1 or 2 charges before the battery's in the red, and just like my Leaf, it can't cool itself. So yeah, all part of the fun of road tripping these old EVs, but I think we should do an e-Golf race versus the Leaf from Fort Collins to Colorado Springs and back.
That's when we have a lot of time on our hands.
Yeah, when we have like a whole day to kill. Because there's now a Chatamo to CCS adapter.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I got one coming, so I can't wait to play around with that.
You know, coming into the city here, just beautiful to see all the lights. Pretty busy.
And here we are arriving to the Land Rover service center. And there she is, parked right out front. Looking good, sitting proud. There's the beauty. So, yeah, just need to figure out this key drop situation and pick it up. Backup camera seems to be working pretty well today. Sometimes it just doesn't want to come up. I don't know. But there's Louis the Range Rover. So I think I'll do another update video. Wow, almost identical one. Literally different wheels, but almost identical one parked right next to it. I'll give you an update video on this. I think I got to sign one of these things for them, but juicing her up here. Yep, there we go. Fasten seatbelts, check engine lights off, go back to auto, run front fogs for Alyssa. Looking good. 59,000 miles on this thing. Spare tire pressure. Yeah, that could probably use a little love. Let's turn this screen off because it doesn't work. We all know that from the original road trip. So we hold here and then we go to OK. Setup. Whoops. Setup. Screen off. I honestly should just unplug it because that thing is toast. A lot of it has to do with the electronics in the back, but it's looking good. Let's see what's going on with the air in the back. Seems to be blasting at the moment. So the vehicle is off. And the temperature sensor is working again. Great. That was tripping the check engine light. And it's also low on fuel. So Alyssa's got to juice up. She's got the fan ripping for Walter back here, but honestly, he'll love that. So I'll fold the seats for him and he can roll in this thing with Alyssa. All right, well, Alyssa's taking Louie up. We have not named the e-Golf, but I don't know. I love my e-Golf. So this thing's looking great. Got the big service records. Again, future video coming on that. All good. Thumbs up. Let's roll. Inside the e-Golf we go. I guess I gotta find the, let's see, we have 16 miles of range. So I need to find a charger that works for us to get on the way back. Let me do a little research and then we can hit the road. All right, we are pulling out of here. And yep, there's really not a great charger space 16 miles away. So we're just gonna go maybe 3 or 5 miles and rip it over to the EA station, top up, and then probably hit a couple, 1 or 2 more chargers on the way back home. So should be good. Let's do it. Got to make a U-turn. Alyssa's going to get Five Guys, and then she's heading home on her own way. So I will see her later on. I'm sure she'll still beat me home. But time to cannonball this e-Golf. Let's freaking do this thing. Regen, baby. And no parking brake that I can pull, or hand brake. It's a electronic one, sadly. So off we go. I'm just arriving here to the Volkswagen dealer. I didn't end up going to Electrify America because this one I could actually make it to. We have 9 miles of range remaining, plenty. And the gates are open and there's a leaf charging. Good. I was hoping it was 24 hours. That was a bit of a gamble. That's kind of the theme for this road trip. So I'm going to back this thing in and charge on the other station. And I've never charged here, but I always drive by it on the highway and I see it. So, man, backup camera's working today. This is a good freaking day. So let's get this thing over to the CPE 250 and get it charging. We are plugged in, and this one's actually in, so there's the pre-charge, 480 volts right there. This one's actually in diagnostics mode. So that was pre-charge, and now you can see the battery pack's at 314. It'll come up as it dumps in the current, the voltage will come up. But pretty cool to see all of that happen in real time. How about that? So we're doing 125 amps, 40 kilowatts, 18% arrival. Just spoke to that Leaf owner, cool dude. And yeah, all is well. There's a Circle K across the street, so I could get some snacks if I wanted to. But there's also a train going by and a few ID4s on the lot, it looks like. But yeah, we're just juicing up the Golf. So I think what I'll do is I'll probably go from here to, I don't know, no reason to leave before it tapers, right? So we'll go up to at least 73%. Lots of trains going by. And we'll probably have to hit that DC charger. Maybe we'll go up Thornton to EA. We'll see. So we're juicing at full power. And for some reason, it's not showing us that here. Maybe I need to kick on accessory power. Shut the lights off. Weird, but we should still be charging. It does appear like we are. Yeah, there we go. I guess accessory power brings up the amperage. So we're doing, 40 something kilowatts. So it shows the battery temperature is 24 degrees Celsius average. Now, I'm not sure if that's what's in between 27 and 19, if this is the highest. See, it says highest measured temperature. I don't know if that means currently or in the past, but yeah, I kind of want to overheat this thing and see what happens when it actually does overheat. So yeah, let's charge here until it tapers and we'll just keep hopping charger to charger. Well, charging up here and a whole bunch of alarms have been going off. I've been seeing people walk up and down the railway over there. Yeah, it does bring up the topic of charging station safety, which is like, is this where you want to be? Yeah, I mean, I'm fine, but I mean, certainly would understand, like my mom not wanting to charge here, if you know what I mean, with the building's alarms going off and everything. Anyway, we're at almost 70%, right where it tapers, still doing 125 amps. What I think I'm going to do is actually do a little weird hop, skip, and a jump to get back up to Fort Collins. Is I'm going to go, we have to skip the EV Go station. And so I think what I'm going to do is charge a little bit early. Just do a quick top up at the Magic Dock station in North Glen, which is only about 15 miles from here. And then I'll go to the Electrify America in Loveland. Again, I'm really trying to overheat the battery on this because I want to see what happens. So we're just charging during peak rates. So here we're just tapering at 73%, 112 amps down, down to 39 kilowatts. So let's stop charging. Let's rip it. Again, this is a bit of an experiment. There we go, stopped charging. Click unlock on the key fob, should release the connector here. There we go. And let's head over to the Magic Dock, just right up the road. And then we need just that quick little top up to make it to Electrify America in Loveland. And here we go, merging onto I-25 North. So just keeping it steady, no full throttles. Again, I am just driving it normally. I'm not trying to overheat the battery, but I am just trying to see how many charges we get out of it. So far we've had 2 pretty deep full send charges, and the battery pack is not even at 30 degrees Celsius yet. So it's seemingly doing pretty well in my book. So let's head to the North Glen Magic Dock. Again, I think that's probably our best option because it's right off the highway, and I want to see if this thing charges on Magic Dock anyway. So yeah, let's go blast over there and juice up, and then hit the EA in Loveland, and then we'll be home. Yeah, I'm really trying to figure out if this Magic Dock is spaced correctly. I mean, we got 30 miles of range. What I probably should do is run up to Firestone where they have that $10 activation CPE 250, but again, that would be the prudent thing to do. I actually want to try the e-Golf on Magic Dock and see if it charges. I don't think there's really been any e-Golfs that have charged on Magic Dock in the US, or I guess in Europe they would just be native CCS. So yeah, let's just go. Let's go see if this thing charges, and if it doesn't, then we'll adjust our plans accordingly. But I got time. Alyssa's actually behind me still. She went to Five Guys, like I mentioned, so we're about 15 minutes ahead of her. So we might even be able to get in and out of this charging stop before she passes us. But we're 86 miles into our journey and cruising along just fine here. And we are pulling into the Tesla Supercharger. This is always a great one because it's right at the Texas Roadhouse, which is pretty convenient, except for the fact that Tesla Superchargers charge too fast to enjoy Texas Roadhouse. So it's at least in the same parking lot just over there. But you will probably get idle fees if the charger is busy and you go to Texas Roadhouse. Tesla does not charge idle fees if the station is at 50% capacity or 49% capacity or less. As soon as it hits 50%, they do charge. And stop sign, full brakes, and full throttle. Yeah, and it's pretty empty right now. So yeah, let's go take one of the spots. The charge port is in the wrong side on this one, but that's okay. There's like a million open spaces, so it's not like we're blocking anyone. So let's go. I was actually just here earlier today charging up the e-tron on my first run. This was the only stop I had to do, and honestly, I probably could have made it all the way back home without charging. So I'll charge on the same one that I did with the e-tron, which was 4B. Because I know that one, well, they all kind of work. And I met a supercharger tech here today, just preemptively doing maintenance. What a concept, and what a difference between Tesla charging and everyone else charging. And let's just inch it all the way back. There we go, right up to the edge. That way, hopefully, it'll reach. Let's do this. It is so nice having this here because this is only 30 cents per kilowatt hour, which is cheaper than EVgo, it's cheaper than EA, and it works. And in this case, it's a 350 amp adapter, which is pretty awesome. So there's a brewing company, there's a beer garden, a couple other things around, of course, the Texas Roadhouse, but this works out really well. So yeah, let me calculate how many miles it is to EA. I think we're gonna have to do a pretty deep charge because that's a good run. And yeah, let's see if this thing is charging. Where's the device? Right here. Okay, let's take a look. Let's see what it says. Okay, and oh yeah, we gotta put it on accessory power, lights off. Whoops. Battery temperature is, come on, there we go. Add washer fluid, got it. Loading, come on. Oh gosh, it's so slow. Doesn't seem to be charging. All right, let's take a look and see what's going on. Well, this is interesting. It seems that the Magic Dock does not work with the e-Golf. How about that? Maybe it just doesn't communicate on the right newer CCS standards. I believe the e-Golf uses DIN 70121, which I would think Tesla would communicate on. I'll try a different post, but again, I literally charged our e-tron right on 4B earlier today, no problems. So yeah, as soon as I plug it in, the Tesla just shows up as, oh, generating report or something like that. So, okay, yeah, I'll just double check, make sure that it is still not charging, because I did see this light just flash, but I don't believe that's the charging light. So yeah, I'll double check it, but at first glance, this didn't work. Maybe I'll try stalls, one other stall, and then we'll hit the road and hit an EA or something else that can charge this. Well, the same thing happened again. I plugged in, it processed, and it said, oh, here's your receipt. So I guess the magic dock just does not work with the e-Golf, which is slightly disappointing. So I guess I'll find another charger in the area. Maybe I'll head back to that EVgo station, but I think there's an EA, like I said, on the other side of the highway. Maybe we'll hit that, and then we'll blast up to Loveland. That might be our only option. Well, that was a valuable lesson and another reason why I wanted to do this trip. We are learning so much how just charging, even in 2024, isn't seamless, isn't easy, is still a pain in the ass. You have safety concerns, you have chargers that are offline and not working, and then you have interoperability issues leading towards failed charging sessions. So, you know, we've had 3 stations, all with 3 different individual problems. That phone just went flying, and the power of the e-Golf really just sends things flying. Yep, so we're off to the northernmost EA station I can make it to on this charge, which we should get to with about 9 or 10 miles of range remaining. And yeah, nice 2500 right there. That's a good looking truck. And then we will head to the next EA station, and then we will head home. So we are back at that EVgo station where we started. It's over here, but I think I'm gonna actually go just up the road to the left. It's a little bit more out of the way, but I'm not sure if EVgo turned back off that charger that we were using, but maybe also kind of a good idea to just try more stations with the Golf since we're out doing some of our own interoperability testing. So yeah, I figured we got 9 miles of range left. Let's just go up the road. Also, if we go this way, it should be a McDonald's where I can get a little snack because I am starving. I think it's a McDonald's there. Anyway, let's go find out. And here we are arriving. There is a McDonald's here. It's a little bit of a walk to the other side of the parking lot, but that's fine. Are they putting more chargers in here? What's going on with all this construction? Unsure, but that's something to keep an eye on. That is interesting. So yeah, here we are. Let's back it in and plug this thing into well, they're all 150 kilowatts. I was going to say, let's plug it into a 350 and see what that lifestyle's like, even though this car can only take 44 or 45 kilowatts or so. Anyway, here we go. Volkswagen on a Volkswagen charger. This should work. And here we go. Alyssa just called and actually said she is about to run out of gas in the Range Rover. She's like, oh, I didn't check the fuel level, and she doesn't have her wallet to pay for fuel. And I was like, find a gas station that takes Apple Pay. We're so used to electric cars, she forgot to check the fuel level in the Range Rover. That's really funny. So yeah, well, if I had remembered, I would have told her. I did see the fuel gauge and I meant to tell her, oh, you should probably go fill up, but totally slipped my mind. Been thinking about fueling the e-Golf, didn't think that would be an issue. So we're juicing and all is good. McDonald's is over there. Woo! So yeah, I think I'll walk over, get a little dinner, and let this thing charge up to probably 100% or so. Should be interesting. And then we got one more stop. I'll rip it to the next one. Okay, well, just finished up a quick meal at McDonald's. Took my time. The e-Golf is, I think, at 91%, doing like 10 kilowatts or something. Yeah, dies up top. But man, it rips all the way, and it held, I monitored this charging session, it held all the way, just the same, 72%. It started to taper. So no signs of overheating yet. We'll check the battery temperature when we get back in the car, and I'm gonna drive it pretty hard to the next EA site. I kind of thought we would be overheating by now. This is the 3rd deep charge in a very short period of time, and it has not thermal throttled at all. So, okay, off we go then. I'll head over there, unplug, off to Loveland. And here we have arrived back to the Golf. We're at 93%, only 23 minutes we've been here. And again, it's only doing 6 kilowatts. It's like 35 miles to the next stop. So wow, 48 cents per kilowatt hour. That's with Pass Plus. It was like 60 something cents without it. They've really raised their prices. So let's stop charging. There we go. 25 minutes up to 93%. Sounds good. Let's go rip it. Check the battery temperature, then we'll rip it.
Curious to see if Kyle's trip was more expensive than mine. So we've made it back here. Got Walters in the back. He much prefers this back than the e-Golf. But yeah, ran this thing down all the way to E, and totally forgot about that gas light for a second there. But I actually learned that you can use your Apple Pay with pumps. I didn't know that was a thing yet, but I really like how they do it. You just scan these different barcodes, whether you have an Android or an iPhone, and then it prompts you straight to their, I don't even know if it was an app, but it was really easy. I just put my name and phone number, and it just linked up to my Apple Pay, so that was super easy. Something maybe some charging companies could look into, I don't know. But yep, we are gonna go back home, right, Walter? He's a little angry, it's past his bedtime, so good night.
So here we are getting some hotter temps, says 37 degrees maximum, 32 average. Starting to see a huge delta spread, probably between the bottom of the pack where it's getting cooled by the ground and the top of the pack where it's kind of buried up in the floorboard where not much cold air is getting to it, would be my guess. But yeah, let's go send it. We got like 44 miles of range, 35 miles to the next charger, so we got a little bit of buffer. Let's go. Well, we have boogied on up here to Loveland. We've been cruising at about 75 miles an hour the whole time. We still have 8 miles of range remaining. We're at, I don't know, 25%, something like that. Again, definitely overcharged, but I was eating, so that's okay. And now we're going to juice up just enough to get back to the house. So, yeah, let's go plug this thing in, see what happens. We have arrived, and interesting. So it looks like the battery temperature has actually crept up now to 40 degrees Celsius, maximum recorded, 33 average. And yep, so I think this must be real time. Yep, so we're at 40C, and I guess driving it hard did heat it up a little bit. So yeah, interesting. It seems to stay steady if I was doing about 65 or 70, but doing 75 hits at 80 from time to time definitely seemed like a bit much for it. Anyway, let me get this thing plugged in. Let's see if it pulls full power even at 40C. Well, the pricing here is almost 10 cents per kilowatt hour less than the other station, and now it's only 42 cents per kilowatt hour Pass Plus rather than, well, maybe that is what we were paying before. I don't know, but it advertised was only 50 something rather than 60 something. So interesting. So we are charging, and we are doing 36 kilowatts. It seems like we're doing close to full speed. I feel like we should be doing 42 kilowatts, 125 amps. Perhaps we are throttling a little bit here. Okay, this 37 kilowatts. Yeah, I think this is we are throttling a little bit. Okay, a little bit of rapid gate. Let's take a look. Yeah, and it shows 30 minutes to a full charge, but yeah, we got to put the ignition on. That's right. Parking lights. Yeah, 113 amps rather than 125. So yeah, I'll keep an eye on this and see what happens, but this is interesting. We're certainly not getting full power, and I feel like the time estimate to 100 normally would show like 25 minutes or 20 minutes at this state of charge, and it's showing 30. So it's not too bad, but yeah, 40C may be the maximum allowable. So the Golf we've been here 11 minutes. We're at 68%. It's still saying another 25 minutes to full, which is very unusual. So definitely heat limited here. Yeah, we're sitting at around 100 amps into the battery pack. So rather than doing, 43 kilowatts, it's doing 33 kilowatts. So we're, I don't know, 25% less charging speeds. And I imagine as the stops go on, it would go less and less. I am charging up to the 72% point because I want to see if it tapers there or if it'll just hold 33 kilowatts longer. So let's see what happens. So interestingly, it does not taper. It just holds full send, I guess, into the point where it comes off 32 kilowatts. So at least you get this sort of like flat curve, and it's still, it's not following that internal curve. It's just temperature limited more or less. Anyway, that was interesting. We were here 13 minutes, and that is the final stop, and we can go home. So let's get this charge port out of here, throw it back here. So that was 8 kilowatt hours. Man, $3. It is cheap driving the Golf. It's fairly efficient, over 3 miles per kilowatt hour. Not the most efficient. These wheels don't help, and of course I'm sure the suspension and alignment still needs to be dialed in a little bit. You can see it just, the whole car needs it going through. We're wrapping it a cool color. It won't be black anymore. But yeah, anyway, that was cool. Neato. Let's see if it shows full power available as it dings at us. Let's go here. It does indicate full power, even though we're at pretty high temperature on the battery. Interesting. Okay, well, that was fun. Let's go home. And we are back to where we started. 147 miles later. The efficiency isn't as good as I was hoping it would be out of this thing, but the wheels probably kill it. The cold weather, running the heater, yeah, that probably didn't help so much either. But it's certainly, our e-tron got 2 miles per kilowatt hour doing the run this morning, and this did 3.3, so that's better than nothing. You know, the battery's still showing full power. It's at like 41, 42 degrees Celsius maximum temperature. But I gotta say, the Golf can do it. The Denver run in the summertime is going to be no problem. It's one charge on the way down, maybe charge at the destination. Usually places that I go have charging, and then one charge on the way back up. But there is that stretch on I-25 where I really need a charger in the middle, and so you kind of have to do a deep charge early to make the stretch. But it's doable, pretty easy, no problems. I'm gonna probably not drive this tomorrow. Now that I have the Range Rover fixed, I want to cruise around in that for a little bit, so I'll leave it sitting at that state of charge. I need to have Colton polish these gauges because they're looking a little bit nasty. But there you go, just a random Golf road trip, 150 miles. Certainly a lot of work to make it go 150 miles. It doesn't love that. It loves commuting to the office and whatnot. But hey, this old thing, 126,000 miles on it now. Freaking charges like a monster still. It's really great. So thanks for watching another Kyle Connor YouTube channel video. More to come very soon. Bye-bye.